Hello, I am Quinny. Welcome to the channel. In this video, guys, I'm basically going to be answering a lot of questions and queries I've been getting in private ever since the football index stuff has kind of unfolded over the last month or two. I really hope you enjoy the video. If you do enjoy it at any stage, please like it. It means someone else who hasn't seen it might find it and they might like it as well. And if you find yourself watching more than one of these videos on the channel, please subscribe because it means a lot. It helps me grow the channel. And let's get stuck into it. So we're going to start off quite simply, right? I loved Football Index for 90%, 80% of the time I spent on the platform. It gave me a real ability all of a sudden to actually control my cash flow a little bit better. I became much better at saving money. I became much better at planning ahead. So as I've mentioned before, and I'll kind of say again, whenever I was making withdrawals on Football Index, if you've been on the channel for a while, you'll know this, I was then taking that money out and buying other collectible things that I have a big passion for and I know a lot about. And it helped me actually get a lot of stuff that I would never have possibly been able to save up for, because I'm really bad with personal finances in terms of saving up to buy something. I'll just go and buy something, you know, I can be quite frivolous in that sense, where I'm like, I'll just go and buy this cheaper thing today instead. I won't buy that more expensive thing next month. And then in a month's time I'll kick myself, I know I will, but that's just the way I am. I'm a kind of live for today kind of guy in that financial respect, which, you know, comes with its own pitfalls, you know, so don't take me for advice on that angle. But what it was always built upon was greater fool theory. I've said that before. It was even more prevalent as of kind of January time, especially when, you know, last year when IS got removed. But the whole marketplace was running on greater fool theory, in the sense that I'm looking to buy something that's undervalued and then I'm going to sell it to you at a higher value, or I'm going to sell it back to Football Index when I see that value as being way past, you know, what I see as current value. That's what the whole platform was built upon. Now, because of that, because of the way the pricing mechanism was working on Football Index for the first, let's just call it 2 or 3 years, where it was by X amount of supply, price goes up a pence, and so on and so forth. Because of that, from day one, guys, it's been under massive manipulation from the whales, you know, the big accounts. And it's really funny, if you jump on Twitter now, there's a lot of activity from guys and they're all looking for, you know, justice and compensation and all the rest of it. And all of those accounts are victims, they really are, okay, of, you know, a number of different things that have went on. But there's a lot of accounts that had big wallets, they were what we would call whales, that were gaming the system from day one. You know, they were dumping prices, they were jacking prices up, they were doing all of these things. And when the market is built upon fundamentals like that, where the price is dictated by a mechanism, like the kind of algorithm for the pricing that we used to experience, and then you've got people with the financial power to move those prices on their whim, for their will, for their own agenda, then it's always going to be volatile and you're always going to be at the mercy of other people. Again, if you've been on the channel for a while, you've heard me say this before, I never went anywhere near the premium end. And the premium end for me, the line was always drawn at Cristiano Ronaldo. Anything more expensive than Ronaldo for me was the premium end. And the main reason for that is because, I've said this before, I've never wanted to be at the mercy of a whale's discretion, that they want to cash out, they want to lump in and go big, and it prices other people out of the market, you know, whatever it is it might be. So with all the recent problems over the last 12 months to one side, even if you think we put a little nostalgia hat on, Football Index was so great in 2019. Yeah, it was a lot of fun and it was really engaging, but it was full of problems that have been brought to the fore with recent problems with COVID and the removal of IS and the company and competitors. You know, the Footstock thing was a big hit in Football Index's pocket, and now obviously SoRare, we're talking about this today in the video, has been a massive hit to their customer base, their revenue and their growth. There's just no two ways about it. You can kid on otherwise, but the facts are the facts at this point. Now, what Football Index was always in this kind of fancy dress costume of being was like a stock market, okay? Now, the reason it did so well, and you'll see and hear a lot of people saying, oh, but the concept was great. What is great about the concept, okay, is there's two things that the average man sees as like an alpha activity that is like, you know, you can puff your chest out and, yeah, I'm a smart guy, I know stuff, I know what I'm doing. That is the stock market, number one, and number two is football, okay? So the vast majority of users on Football Index's stock stock brokering, exchanging, experience, currencies and all that is minuscule, if not zero, me included, before I came on to Football Index and whatever. So when you're in that kind of costume, you're then going to entice people who know nothing about the real version of what they're dressed up as, and it gives them a chance to, play Warren Buffett, to play Jordan Belfort, and that was fun. I found it very engaging. I found it very rewarding. The second thing about the concept that was great and is great is the media payout, because and everything else, it's about goals, it's about what happens in 90 minutes, it's about pass completion, crosses, it's about all this kind of stuff. Whereas the media gave you that other aspect of, do you know what, that guy may not be the best player on his score for my fantasy team or for the bet, he didn't get the goal or whatever, but he missed a penalty and he'd got a red card or whatever, he's in the media, and it gave you something very unique of a payout. And it was a payout that, for me, I said this in a tweet, I can't remember who it was, I think it might have been Yavi, about a month ago or so. It was like, strip them down and sell them for pieces. Football Index, this is when all the shit was hitting the fan. The only thing that this company has that's worth any money is any intellectual property they have against the media monitor. They'd made comment in a podcast or somewhere along the annals of time, I can't remember exactly where, but they kind of intimated that they have protection on their media monitor, how it's built and how it operates in terms of some sort of patent or some sort of license. With the patent, you've got a patent and you've got a licensed patent. There's two different ones. I don't know exactly what it is that they have, but that is, for me, the concept of dressing up that stock market against the kind of novice who's never dealt with this stuff, makes them feel like, they're, the Wolf of Wall Street kind of thing. It has that angle. That is a lot of fun. It has the football element, which is also a lot of fun. But like I said earlier in the video, there's a lot of fundamentals that have been really wrong with it throughout the whole time. And a lot of people are walking about with their rose-tinted glasses on, thinking that the problems have only happened over the last year. No, the problems that have came to the fore over the last year have been long seeded and rooted in the platform for, since its conception really, or since its most recent iterations. Before we move on, guys, I want to get this off my chest, okay? Not everyone in Football Index is a victim, okay? There's a small cross section of accounts, okay, that have been deliberately providing you with misinformation and rose-tinted glasses perspective on the outlook of things for the sole purpose of their own gain. These people, when I listen to them on the odd occasion I have, do sound stupid, but they're not. They're actually really, really smart people. If I can see the writing on the wall and I'm no genius, they've seen it also. And at which point, when they decide to keep their message being rockets and everything's amazing and we're going to £35 a share on Sancho and removal of IS is the best thing ever and all the rest of it, they are doing that for the sole purpose to keep you misinformed so they can use their information to maximize their exit, to maximize their profit. I don't see any of those accounts on Twitter screaming for justice and organising lawyers and doing all this stuff. The people I see doing that are the victims, are the people that have been overexposed, they've been led down the garden path by misinformation fed to them by whoever, and these are the victims. The people that I would class as, they're definitely not victims, I don't know what the word would be. I don't see anything from them. I think one or two of them have blocked me, so that's probably part of the reason, okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't see these people screaming for justice. I don't see these people going on the radio and talking to reporters and newspaper articles. I don't see them anywhere doing these things. What I have noticed, but, is a lot of these guys quietly have moved out of Football Index and moved elsewhere. When they were quietly doing that, if you cross-reference that with content that was coming out, you will clearly see there's been a deliberate attempt to provide you with misinformation while they quietly pack their bags and leave through the back door. So this is a part of the video that I do find important, because a lot of your worries and concerns about, if you're coming from Planet Index, moving into SoRare, is the experience that you've had over the last, year, 18 months, whatever you want to think about. And a big part of the problem over the last 12 to 18 months is the source of information the majority of the community has relied upon. And number two, the pricing structure and the fact that whales were able to manipulate and use a lot of greater fool theory across the entire market. With SoRare, that's not really possible because every card has its own individual price, and you can clearly see how invested people are in a particular player in a particular position because it's all transparent on the blockchain. And in terms of information, you just need to watch out who you're getting your information from. Is it someone that is very transparent and shows you everything? Someone who's really down to earth and is really colloquial and will just show you what they're doing anyway? Or is it someone that doesn't show you anything? They keep everything behind closed doors. They only show you a wee spreadsheet or a screenshot after the fact if they want to. you need to really assess your information sources also. Now, there is a lot of green cheese that comes with the football index, SoRare kind of clash of the titans, if you like, okay? And that green cheese is three simple words, okay? Alternative asset class, okay? As you've probably seen if you've been on Twitter or around the internet or whatever, the NFT buzz has been absolutely massive over the last month or two with Gary Vaynerchuk, Benchmark, and all this other stuff that's been going on. Now, despite the name of this video, it's part of the reason I don't actually really like comparing the two things, SoRare and Football Index, because quite simply, it is chalk and cheese. It could not be any more different. The only similarities that they have is that they're football based and they're beyond the UK in terms of the scope for the competitions or the interaction, the activities that are displayed on the platform. They are the only two similarities, okay? From my very first interaction with the platform, it's always been held out as a fantasy football card collecting game, okay? So as long as it stays true to those principles and everything that it's outset since I've been here anyway, and from what I can see long before I joined, it has stayed true to the same principles in terms of pricing, in terms of supply, and in terms of engagement and activity. Everything has been constantly ramping up in line with supply, in line with demand, and in line with engagement. Now, the main reason I'm making this video, like I kind of said at the tip off, is I get messages from people saying I'm worried about what happened with Football Index, how does that impact SoRare and all this kind of stuff. I can see why people make that connection, have that concern, because some of the prices on this are very much in line with Football Index prices when you were going out and buying like 300 David Neres's. It might have cost you about £500. You know, back when Ajax were going to Champions League semi-finals and Europa League finals and all that kind of stuff. So in terms of your cost for what you're going to acquire, it can be quite similar, okay? But like I said, this has been held out from minute one as a game and as a collection tool, okay? It's something that these are officially merchandised IP that has intellectual property, officially merchandised goods from the clubs that are involved in the platform, okay? Now, the main thing that is going on that you should have a concern about, or you should be making sure you're researching to the best of your ability, if this is something you are involved in, SoRare, or it's something you're thinking about getting involved in, is that you understand Ether a lot better and you understand where the platform is going. I've got other videos on the channel. I'll probably link one of them up here the now, called Why is SoRare the NFT to be involved in? And there might be another one popping up about now, why you're seeing NFT everywhere, okay? So what we've got with NFT is a brand new alternative asset class. It's a new digital way of collecting things that proves ownership, and you can attach intellectual property against without there being counterfeits and all these other kind of things as well. When people do message me asking me, oh, what do you think about Football Index and SoRare and all the rest of it, what people's main worries are is they go and buy, let's look at this Beckham card that's about to go away now. It's going for about 1,500 quid. They buy that Beckham card, and then by the time they want to sell it, there's not a market there for it. There's nobody who wants to buy it off them, okay? Now, that is not what happened with Football Index in any way, shape and form. What happened with Football Index is much more detailed, much more intricate in terms of the details and the dynamics, and I'm not going to labour and tell you all the stuff that's happened because you'll know that if you're watching this video. But this situation here with the Beckham is the exact same situation as me with any of these fucking toys that I've bought, with any card that you might pick up from Pokemon or from Magic or from a football card or a sports card, a Panini sticker. That is the dynamic that's going on, okay? Some people will also ask me the question, oh well, what if can SoRare afford to keep up the tournaments? The tournaments and the prizes on offer does play a massive part in the valuation of the cards, okay? But what you need to remember is that SoRare has built this as a game. You won't remember this because you weren't here, right? I made videos so you can go back and check them out, right? But when I first joined SoRare, there was only the global division and the under 23 division, and that was it. The growth and the prizes and the rewards are always kept in line with the user base. They're very clear with that, and because of the stage of the company we're at now, it's in a stage of growth, so you'd expect those things to continue to go forward. Equally, like kind of what did happen with Football Index maybe over the last month or so, it will get to a point of saturation where it's like they cannot be any bigger, they cannot give out any more money, they cannot offer more places for prizes, they can't open up more divisions, they cannot give out more rewards. That point of saturation, or critical mass you might call it, will come, but what you're trying to judge if you are getting involved in the platform and that is a concern of yours is you need to try and work out where you see that happening, and that is in terms of time scale as well as the actual numbers, the head count, how many people are here, how many people enjoy the platform, all that kind of thing. So should you be worried what happened to Football Index happens to SoRare? it would be naive and irresponsible for me to say no. You should always be worried about anything that you're investing money and time. Time is much more important to me than money in a lot of instances. And two, you should always be worried that you're not going to get the return on that time or that money that you've intended. It's the exact same as anything else. And like I've said already in the video, I don't find the two comparable because they're just built so differently. They're just built so differently, and they've got a different kind of trajectory. As much as like, football index is kind of, you know, in the past went out with this whole alternative asset class stuff and whatever, it was a great pipe dream and it was a great goal for them to go for. And I always backed them to go down that path. And I always said in videos, it won't be easy. It will hurt a lot of people and it will take a lot of time. But when they get there, the potential rewards are massive. Unfortunately, we don't really know the details, but they've obviously not been able to achieve those goals, which does make me sad because I'd have been very happy to see them achieve it, legitimise the business completely and go on and prosper, because it was a lot of fun. It was absolutely great. The reason a lot of people find SoRare just as appealing, if not more so appealing, is it because it has a lot of similarities to Football Index in the sense that it's global football. You don't need to just have Benzema and Modric and all the big guys. You can get cheaper guys and be as competitive as well if you invest the correct amount of time to research and unearth these gems, as well as then spend the time in auctions trying to get them for the best possible price. I don't come across any users that are willy-nilly with their money. They go out, oh, I'll just spend $5 grand on Modric, fuck it, who cares? No one does that. Everyone is always working within their own parameters and their own budget. What you need to do is take the lessons from Football Index and carry it forth with you throughout the rest of your life. I'm quite fortunate that I've just turned 33 and I have learned a lot of lessons in my life. And one of the main ones is, and I said this in the profit and loss video I did on SoRare last week, is it's not profit until it hits your pocket. And whenever I was doing well on Football Index, I was very aware of that. I was very, you know, had that at the front of my mind. So when I did do well, I was always happy to withdraw, and then what I would do is I would compound that profit into something physical, because that's just what I knew, and I was really comfortable in doing that. And I've had a lot of fun building this cupboard and doing all the stuff that I've done in here, you know. And SoRare will be no different. When I build my gallery up to a stage where I'm really happy with the profit, I will withdraw that money, and the amount of money we're talking about in this case, I probably won't buy toys with it. I might go and get another house, or I might pay off my mortgage, or I might go get a car, you know. But the point being is, profit isn't anything. It doesn't exist until it's in your pocket, you know. So you need to bear that in mind. If you didn't learn that lesson with Football Index, then I hope that does stay with you for the rest of your life, because, you know, profit doesn't mean, on a sheet of paper, turnover, all this stuff, it doesn't mean anything. When it hits pound notes, dollars, yen, euros, when that hits your pocket, that's when you're in profit, not beforehand, okay? And I say that on the profit and loss video myself, because to look at a spreadsheet and go, oh, look how much I'm up, doesn't mean anything unless I put that money in my pocket. It means absolutely zero. And somebody, guys, when it comes to this stuff, you've really got to trust your gut first and foremost. You know, when it comes to how you're going to be spending your time, like I said before, time in a lot of ways to me is much more valuable, in most ways is much more valuable than money. So when you're spending a lot of time researching something and getting, I find that kind of thing fun. But when you're doing that, as well as when you're deploying your money, you should never just listen blindly to some random guy on YouTube or on a podcast or whatever. You should always make sure you're doing your own research and looking for sources of information that have no invested interest in your decision making. That is always the best advice anyone can ever give you. And like I always say, when I've had guys message me, you know, oh, I'm not too sure what to do, listen to your gut. If you're not sure and you can tell your gut's kind of telling you, no, don't do this, then don't, you know. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this, guys. Any comments, I'm sure there'll be a few. I'll welcome them and I'll answer them all in the comment section down below. If you do like the video, please like it. Help somebody else who might find it, might like it. Subscribe to the channel, like, subscribe, share, retweet, all that good stuff, guys. Stay out of trouble, and I'll see you on the next one.
It's the time.